Hello everybody, Brittany Bread coming at you live. Why we work Wednesdays. I'm so excited. Oh no. My phone is gonna die, so I'm trying to keep it charged and do this video and throwing everything off. My cord's a little short. Hey Shannon, thanks for tuning in. Kelly should be here anytime. This with me. I'm going to be interviewing her today. I'm so excited. What do you see my makeup? I just did it. It looks like a sunset. So I'm really digging it. Anyway. Hey Cammie, thank you for tuning in. Chrissy, thank you for tuning in. We're going to have a lot of fun today, you guys. Maybe while we're waiting, I'll show you guys what I got from Just Fab. And of course, instead of coming to my door, I got 2 tags in the mailbox, and John went to pick them up, and he was like, what did you buy? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, he's mad with me. So I got 3 pairs of shoes from Just Fab, and this is my first time ever buying from Just Fab. You always see the commercials of the girls all excited, and they're squealing, and their husbands are like, more shoes. Well, that was my husband. So, I got 3 pair. Sorry, it's probably super loud, all the crinkling. So I got this pair. Ooh. Are they fancy schmancy? They're like iridescent, but on the blue side. So they're like half tealy, half navy, depending on how they pick up the light. So I'm really excited about those. Where will I wear them? Not sure yet. We'll find out. I'll make sure Mermaid shoes, yeah, Jess. As soon as I pulled them out, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if they were like I don't even know what they call it. Where you like rub the sequins and they change. What are they called? Is it just the mermaid sequins? I don't know. So I got these pair, and I'm super excited about these. Kelly! I'm just showing everyone my shoes. Let me bring you in. What? Did she disappear? She must have disappeared. Kelly, are you still there? It says I can't add you. So then I got this pair. So these are coral. This is our wedding color. So I was like, obviously. And then it has like a little... You are here. Well, why wouldn't it let me add you? There's no... Add viewers to be in your broadcast. Okay. Invite. Okay, I sent you an invitation. So these ones go like around your ankle, and it has a little lock and key that dangles. So I was like, that's exciting. I like those ones. And then I got a pair of boots. Kelly, did you get my request? It says, like I sent you an invitation. And then last but not least, I got these boots. What did I do there? Okay. Add viewers to be in your broadcast. Kelly, I'm pressing your name. It's not working. Can you request to join? Can you request to join me? Are you on? Oh, that's why. You can't bring people in from a computer. It has to be on a phone. Toby and I played with that. So then I got these boots. They're blush. I really like those. Those are cute. For the spring. So that's what I bought. For everyone that was wondering. I'll take pictures of them later. Okay, stand by. I'm standing by, honey. So this is like my first live for today. I usually try to go live at like 2 o'clock, and I knew I was coming live tonight, so I didn't bother. I'm thinking of doing like an Ask Me Anything. Maybe tomorrow, if you're watching this right now, you want to ask me something tomorrow, pop on at like 2 o'clock, And we'll do like an Ask Me Anything. You can ask me anything from like business to coaching to parenting to makeup to shoes. That'll be fun, right? I'm really excited. Oh, well, let's do, oh, well, maybe I'll wait for Kelly. There's only a couple hours left to get in on our super sweet giveaways that corporate is doing, and also Dream Team that I'm on. It's like the biggest team in Rodan and Fields. They're giving 500 new consultants who enroll today with the medium or large business kit. They're giving them an extra regimen for free because they're just like amazing. Any regimen of your choice, they're just going to give it to you. You have to, the requirements are that you enroll with the medium or large business kit. You host a BBL within 2 weeks. So a BBL is a big business launch. It can be virtual or in person. It's just like a big party. Like let everyone know that you have your own business now. And you have to have your consultant replenishment program turned on for the first month. And then they'll just give it to you. Like, that's wild. I wish that they did that stuff when I started. And then also, corporate, if you sign as a new PC, which Kelly and I are going to talk about this. If you sign as a new PC with any regimen today, you'll get a free jar of our microdermabrasion paste, which I still happen to have sitting here from when I took a picture yesterday. It's a sugar salt scrub. This is mine. It's well used, well loved in this house. And, also, if you want to order a regimen with our active hydration serum, they're bundled together right now as like a little bundle. You can save 20% if you buy it that way, which is a huge savings. And then if you're a preferred customer, you'll get another 10% off of that. And that ends today. So if you're thinking that you want to try the active hydration serum, you need to hit that up before it's gone, because they only do this deal like once a year for a short amount of time. And we're also backed by our 60-day empty bottle full money back guarantee. So what is the harm in trying it? You're wasting all kinds of money on junk that sits under your cupboard that doesn't work anyway. So you might as well buy something good. And if you really don't like it, send it back and get your money back. 60 days. It's a long time. So, I'm so excited to talk to Kelly. There she is. Yes. Bam. Kelly. Wait till you guys see our makeup.
Does it work?
Hi, honey.
Hi. So because they changed live and everything, like I'm on a tripod with my phone sideways. So can you guys see me okay?
Yeah, you look awesome.
Oh, thanks.
I love your makeup.
Why did I think that it would be easy and I could just use my webcam? I don't know. So yeah, it's my first time wearing makeup in 3 years-ish, maybe a little more.
I love it.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Nathan walked in the living room and he was like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, why are you made up?" And I said, "Because I have the interview tonight at 6." And he was like, I thought that was on the phone. Why would I get interviewed on the phone?
I don't know.
What's that noise?
What noise? What do you hear?
I don't know. It's like a little staticky.
It's because I don't have my microphone.
Huh?
It's because I don't have my microphone, probably.
Oh, word.
Sorry.
Well, you look pretty, as usual.
I just did my makeup.
I mean, I don't know how you magically put your makeup on in like 5 minutes and look that glamorous.
I just slap it together.
I have to put my hair up because it's a gazillion degrees under all this hair. Let me just tell you. I have to get my hair cut. It's stupid.
If I could just shave my head and wear wigs, I would.
I mean, I've had a shaved head before. I would have to lose some weight to do that again. But I have had a shaved head, and we shaved star shapes into my head.
Ooh, that's like the new trend, too. The hair tattoos.
I know. I was way ahead of my time.
Trendsetter.
I don't know, though. That was a thing in Flint when I was growing up. Like, that whole shaving stuff into your head was a thing in the urban community. I protested the first Gulf War by having peace signs shaved into my head when I was but a wee lass.
Oh, my soul.
I know, when my mom and I talk about, like, how crazy I drove her, I'm like, clearly you should have known by the time I was 9. I don't know what's wrong with you.
True.
Just saying. Is my big sister here yet? She said she was going to be. My cousin's here.
Who?
My cousin Christina and my friend Katie. Pony was on, but I don't know if she is anymore. You guys should wave or like something or send us a carrier pigeon and let us know that you're here.
Yes.
Oh, somebody just did. Look at that. They follow directions.
Who? I don't know who it was. It didn't show a face for me, so it must be someone you know.
I don't know.
Or
Chrissy is here, and Chrissy. Oh, there's 2 Chrissies. My Chrissy is the owner of the Dotted Lime.
Stop it! Hello, Dotted Lime owner.
Oh my God.
My Chrissy's in Florida.
If there could be a Dotted Lime everywhere in the country, well, I would be sad because they would probably be gone a lot, but everybody needs a Dotted Lime.
When I come to visit you, we're going to go there so I can try it.
Yeah, bish, because it's like a mile away from my house. Oh, Amber's on. My sister Amber. Hi, Amber.
Amber.
So that's exciting. Yeah, my hair looks pretty when it's down, but it weighs about 15 pounds. Oh, and it's hot, and I live in the South, and I don't really know why I do this to myself.
I don't either.
Because it's already spring.
It's kind of spring here, too, which freaks me out because we didn't get enough snow. So I'm like, what's wrong? What's happening?
Maybe there is climate change. I don't know.
I think there is.
Well, so what's the haps, man? It's your world. I'm just floating in it today.
Oh. Okay, so why we work Wednesdays, I like to take someone from Rodan and Fields every week on Wednesdays, obviously, and ask them a few questions about their business because, and I say this every time I interview someone, if you had a day job and you got another part-time job and you posted that on Facebook, people would give you all the thumbs, all the hearts. They'd be so excited for you. But
yeah, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, you work so hard. Props to you.
Props. As soon as you say you own your own business, people, like, it's crickets. People are like, oh, dear.
Or my favorite, they're like, oh, is it a pyramid scheme? No.
Right. So I like to do this to, like, bring awareness of what's really going down.
Word.
So are you ready?
I always love it when people are like, it sounds like a pyramid scheme, because I'm like, oh, because you know me, and I'm that stupid that I would do that.
You know anything about pyramid schemes.
Right.
Just saying.
So, yeah, let's do this. Let's dive right in.
It's not hard. It's super easy. I'm not like Anderson Cooper or anything.
Are you gonna Barbara Walters me?
I'm gonna Barbara Walters you.
I cry. I'm so mad at you.
So my first question is, how long have you been with RF?
November 21st or 22nd of 2016. So a little over a year.
Yeah.
Almost a year and a half, I guess. You and I signed up really close together.
Yeah.
Didn't know each other at all. Got to know each other pretty quick. I think because I swear a lot and you're okay with that.
I like swearing.
Because God bless all of our team. I love them to death. I cherish every moment that I get to work with them. But like sometimes I'm like, I am the hoodlum of the group, like the heathen, something. Like everybody's so kind and sweet and and mothers and wholesome, and I'm over here like, yeah, let's get another tattoo. Fuck yeah.
But you're the love terrorist.
That's true. I am the love terrorist, and it's a well-deserved title. I am the love terrorist, but the thing about that is that when you are a love terrorist, it's because you are a passionate person, and so I am passionate about everything I feel, think, say, and do, which means I don't always have a censor. I love that you're like, I haven't noticed.
Who needs censors?
And I have a little bit of a colorful past. So sometimes I feel like the hoodlum of the group, but I love it. I mean, I love working with you guys. I think you make me, sorry, my old lady back needs to shift a little. I think working with you guys makes me a better person, but I think that you're better than me. You're better than me.
Stop it. Get out of here, you crazy man.
So yeah, about a year and a half.
Tell everyone a little bit about you. I probably should start.
Well, we've already covered the part where I'm a love terrorist.
Okay.
When I started RF, I was working full-time in nonprofit. That's what I had been doing my entire adult life. I have a master's degree in public administration for nonprofit management and a bachelor's in political science. And I have run community centers in public housing projects, like where there's shootings and things. I have been a grant writer. I used to work for Rocket Town, which was founded by Michael W. Smith, and was a grant writer. And then the last job that I had out in the world, Beth says I don't need a censor anyway.
I saw that.
I love that my friends just accept that I just vomit whatever comes to my head. But so my last job was foster parent recruiter and trainer. So I would go out into the community and like put out marketing materials and talk to people in public spaces and at events and stuff, and kind of like talk to them about therapeutic foster care and the difference between that and traditional foster care. Because our kids like were the kids that all of the bad TV movies are made about, you know, like the kids that are just like go through absolute hell, and like that's the kids that we served. So I would go out into the community and talk to people about becoming a foster parent and what that looked like, and then put them through 7 weeks of training, and then write a home study. And I was basically the gatekeeper. I was the one who decided whether or not they should be certified as foster parents. So in November of 2016, after watching the business, after watching my friend Tobes, we love you so much.
Totally love you.
After watching Toby for 2 years run his business, I finally was like, okay, let's do this. So the idea was I want to pay off student loans sometime before I die, and maybe not just live paycheck to 3 days before paycheck, but maybe bring in a little extra income so I can have a more comfortable life and a life that I deserve. But it was going to be like a side gig, side hustle, if you will. And then in June of last year, everything changed because my spine took a big fat shit on me.
Yep.
And so I went out on what started out as 6 weeks medical leave, and that turned into 12 weeks, which turned into 16 weeks, and then I lost my job. And so what started out as like a side hustle became my only thing. And rather than just like laying around and letting my brain rot, on the couch, I decided to turn that into an opportunity for growth and kind of like maybe this is my chance to do something to make a living that's not going to run me ragged and I can make a decent living at, you know? So that's how Business Couch was born. It was like, I don't even remember how it happened. I was like texting with Dina or something, and I was like, hashtag Business Couch, and she was like, I love that. And then it just became a thing. And so that was in June, and then like in August, I started a blog. I have what's called degenerative disc disease, but I also have something called piriformis syndrome. And as you know, it took a really long time for doctors to figure out that I had multiple diagnoses going on. So it took a long time to figure out the right course of treatment. And so up until a few weeks ago, I was completely dependent on everybody else to drive me everywhere and do everything. So I was literally, most of the time that I was on medical leave, I was literally laying on the couch with this super rad desk that my mom bought me. Jody has degenerative disc disease. No kidding.
Jody, I didn't know that about you.
I didn't know that either. I hope you don't have any like herniated discs or anything, because those suck, as I learned. But
yeah.
So a lot of, like, for months, I was literally laying on the couch looking up like this at my laptop on this desk that my mom got me that, like, raises up and down and tilts and I can, like, spin it and stuff. And I just decided I was going to make the best of it. And so Nerdzilla became my brand. It used to just be a nickname, and now it's my brand. And I have the blog, and I'm writing a book and doing freelance stuff, writing and editing, and hopefully I never have to work for anybody else again.
Yay!
Sorry.
So, no, don't be sorry. You talked about Toby.
Mm-hmm.
I was terrified to carry my babies, but God got me through. So far, so good. Jody, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I am legit terrified of ever getting pregnant, I'll be honest, because it's with the degenerative disc disease plus like having 4 herniated discs in your low back right in a row, and then also having like the piriformis syndrome. Part of why I have piriformis syndrome is because my hips and pelvis do not stay in place. They're constantly shifting.
Oh.
And that's why I have to go to the chiropractor. So like everything that happens when you're pregnant is like bones move and expand and things shift and like, you know, and you get sciatica anyway a lot of times when you're pregnant. And I'm like, no, I can't. So, but that's really awesome, Jody. And Jody, when my book is done, I feel like everybody at RNF is gonna like, I'm gonna have to do like a huge first run just for our team.
Yes. Yes. Because everybody wants it.
I know, which I appreciate. I love you guys so much for all the support.
We love you. So, Toby, one of my questions for you is, like, how did you hear about RF? Like, what piqued your interest? How did you get started?
Well, I met Toby at my sister's birthday in her swimming pool in like 2014. And so Toby's married to Al, and they're like the best couple. I love those two. They're the sweetest.
So cute.
Like, we should all strive to love each other as much as Toby and Al love each other. So, I had just moved to Tennessee a few months prior, and I guess it was 2013, and I was at my sister's at a pool party, and I'm sitting in the pool, and all of a sudden, like, I start talking to Toby, and I instantly fall in love with him. So I just decide that I'm gonna love terrorist him, and like he's gonna be my friend.
Or
like I was just like, I just really need him to be my friend. And so I mean, you know, some people are just like that. You like instantly fall in love with the person, and that's how it was. So it was just like 6 months later or something that he started RNF. and I saw a couple of posts on Facebook, and I was like, and it was like crazy stuff. Like some of the, some of the results, excuse me, were crazy. And he kept talking about life-changing skincare, and I was like, come on, skincare changes lives. What's happening? Um, and at the time I had just come off moving across the country and being out of work for a year. And so I was like, can I talk to you about this? Can you tell me about it? And he was so nervous because I didn't know then, but I know now that I was the first person he'd ever talked to about the business. Yeah. Like I was his very first phone call. And I was like, okay, so real talk, like, what's happening? Somebody says,
Chrissy.
Oh, hey, Chrissy. I live in Columbia, Tennessee. It's like 50 miles south of Nashville. But so I talked to Toby, and he kind of told me about it, but I could like hear the nervousness in his voice, like, you know, and I was like, okay, well, it sounds like a really cool thing, but there's no way I can do it right now because I like been out of work for a year, Rosebud had almost just died, and I had to have a fundraiser to like save her life, so it was just not the right time. But I kept watching, and like every once in a while I would send him a referral for somebody who's interested in products, and he'd be like, why don't we get you on as a consultant, and then they can be your customers? And I'm like, slow your roll. Like,
Oh, Toby.
and for a while I kept thinking like, I am a nonprofit person. That's who I am. And I went to school for all these years, and I sacrificed so much to put myself through school and then grad school, and like I missed out on so much life, and and I really felt strongly that like I was supposed to be, world changing things. And so I felt like if I was to do something like this, it would be betraying that, if that makes, like, that's how I was thinking about it. So I was like, well, that's just not me. I'm a nonprofit person. But then like the grueling, like the grueling nonprofit life where you're expected to work all of this extra unpaid overtime and do the job of 2 and 3 people because, you don't have the budget for more staff, and like just all the different things. And my back started to hurt so much the longer I was at YV. And I was like, something's got to give. Something's got to change. Like, maybe I don't want to totally change my career, but like, maybe I should look into this. So I finally ended up, he had posted something, like the clincher was like, he posted something right after convention that year when Lash Boost got released.
Oh.
And he was like, this is going to be big and you want in on this. And then he posted this thing that was like the top 10 credit card offers or something of 2017.
Yeah.
And it was like all these different credit cards with like 15 months, no interest, no payments, da 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 da. And he said something about like every business person has to get an investor. Like most business people have to borrow money to start their business and get investors. And I was like, well, that makes sense. So I told Nathan to go. I was like, you research it. Tell me it's a bad idea. Like, do your best, because he's really obsessive. When you put him on something and say research it, he's obsessive. So I was like, you research it and tell me it's a bad idea. And he came back to me a few days later, and he was like, it's not a bad idea. He was like, this company's legit, and the doctors are like super well renowned, and like they're known all over the world for what they do. And he's like, yeah, I can see why people might think it's it's a pyramid scheme or whatever. He's like, because of the hierarchy. And I was like, yeah, but there's a hierarchy in every business you work. Like, my supervisor made more than me at my crappy nonprofit job, and his regional supervisor made more than him, and her director made more than her, and and so I was like, it's the same damn thing.
Right.
So I did it. I'm really long-winded.
No, I like it because you have so much information and it's good information.
Well, and I feel like people need to know like the the context and like everybody's story is different.
Yep.
And how people go about it or decide to jump into it are different. Everybody has their own story, but like I've said this before, I had stopped allowing myself to dream for a long time because I felt so oppressed by student loan debt and so beat down by like, I used to think like, why did I do this to myself? Like, how could I have done this to myself? Um, you know, like I'm going to be slaving away for the rest of my life, and for what? For pieces of paper that hang on the wall. And then, aw, thanks, Chrissy. She's so sweet.
I know.
Um,
Friends.
but you know, I would beat myself up all the time, and I stopped dreaming and I stopped writing. Like I'd been writing since I was in elementary school. I begged for a typewriter for like my 7th birthday.
Oh my
And my
God.
mom actually got it for me, and I would write short stories and stuff. And like, so I'd literally, writing had always been my first love, but I had stopped doing it entirely because I was like, I have to have a job.
Right.
I have, you know, and there was no time at the end of the day with being so exhausted and beat down from the work that I was doing. There was no energy or time or creative anything left. So I had given up on dreaming. And then slowly, when I started the business as like a side business, I was slowly like, oh, there's a lot more possibilities than I had thought. And then when I lost my job, it was like, okay, well, it is what it is, but it's going to be what you make it. So
Mm-hmm.
like, it sucks that you're stuck to the couch, and it sucks that you can't work your job, and it sucks that you have to like at 35 years old completely, you know, like reconfigure your life and your career, but like it doesn't have to suck. You can figure it out. And so that's kind of just through all of my anxiety about taking all of the chances and facing all the fears, that's what I keep telling myself is like, it is what it is now, but it's going to be what you make it.
Absolutely. And you know, it's so smart what you said about Toby posting the credit card thing. I did a video, ugh, probably like a month or more ago, on the 5 things that wealthy people do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was after I had met with Michael Lee Chin. So he's like a billionaire. He owns a bunch of companies. And I had
Yeah.
sat in a business meeting with him and like 3 other people. And he like looked me dead in the eye and he's like, "You want to know what wealthy people do? Here's the 5 things that they do." And you know what? I probably wouldn't even be able to remember them all right now, but I can remember them at the time. And one of them was no wealthy person started their own company with their own money. They all, they borrow from the bank, they borrow from friends, they borrow from family, they put it on credit, whatever they have to do. Like Bill Gates wasn't always a bajillionaire. Like he was in his mom's garage.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
so
it's true. And like, we limit ourselves so much. It's kind of like how they say like there's never a good time to have kids, or there's never a good time to like move across the country or move out of the country if that's your dream. There's never going to be like a perfect time to do any of it. So the bottom line is that if you want to do it, you have to leave your comfort zone, and you have to just figure out a way to do it and believe in yourself enough, which is really hard for a lot of people, including me. I mean, I've accomplished a lot in my life, and I still doubt myself constantly. You know,
yeah.
but you have to start reprogramming your thinking, and you have to just decide, I'm going to figure it out. And you know what? The world's not going to stop spinning if you try and it doesn't work out. Like,
True.
especially with this business, it was like, okay, it's you can either do a $400 investment, a $700 investment, or $1,000 investment. The world is not going to stop spinning if it doesn't work out at that level. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about $1 million or half a
No.
million dollars. So yeah, they say if your why is big enough, you figure out your how. So it took me a while to get there, but I finally did it.
Awesome. I love it. So after you started,
Hmm.
I want know what the reception was from your friends and family when you told them that you started your own skincare like company.
In my head, they all thought I was crazy and they were never going to talk to me again, and they were all going to unfriend me from social media, and no one would support me.
Right.
In real life, within the first 24 hours, I had like 4 or 5 people come to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I've been really curious about these products, but I didn't know anybody that I actually trusted enough to try them with, and I trust you, and I know you, and I know you wouldn't be involved in some bullshit, so I'm really excited to finally try them." And I think that goes back to like just being your most authentic self. Like, we all think everybody's gonna naysay, and there are some people. Like, I had people who messaged me and they were like, "If you don't stop posting stuff about your business, I'm gonna unfriend you or unfollow you." And I was like, deuces. Like,
Hi.
because they're not the ones paying my bills. Like, they're not the ones like trying to talk me down from a panic attack at night when I'm worrying about like how I'm going to pay off my debt and like live a real life or retire. Or so there were a couple of people that were like naysayers about it, but most people were super supportive. I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised, and it's continued to be that way. Yeah. It's so like there is some skepticism. There's been a few people, like my brother-in-law loves to give me shit and be like, "Okay, pyramid scheme." But like he does it to drive me bananas because that's what he does. That's our relationship. Nathan, when Nathan found out that there were like legitimate millionaires in the business that had like retired their husbands and stuff, he started every week. He'd go, "Can I retire yet?" He would just be like, so I mean, he was a little bit skeptical at first too, but he's gotten more and more on board as it's gone.
What does a day in business look like for you?
I'm on the couch a lot. Usually Rosebud is in my lap. My friend Amberly and I joke now because we're both not working
Yes.
outside of the house. We're both just doing R&F, and neither one of us expected that to happen. And so we joke now about how we're stay-at-home dog moms. So like I get up at 5:30 or so and take care of Rosebud and have some coffee, and I just kind of like for about half an hour or an hour, I kind of like read over what's happening in the world and what's happening with my friends and stuff, and like interact with people on social media a little bit and kind of think about like, what do I want to present to the world that day? Especially lately, we need laughter and love, and I'm the love terrorist, so I try and do a lot of that and making people laugh, because it's not just about selling product. Like, you want people to be engaged with you and want to stay engaged with you. And so I try and think a lot about like, what do I need to talk about? I might write a blog. I'm usually doing reach outs and stuff and like messaging people from my phone in between, like maybe at doctor's offices while I'm in the waiting room, or because I have done that a lot, or like I'm doing freelance editing and proofreading work right now, so I'll do a couple hours on that, and then I'll take a break and do like 20 or 30 minutes on R&F. And then, so it's like literally, and when I worked full time, I was only putting about 4 or 5 hours a week into it. So it's really one of those things that you can fit into the nooks and crannies. They say that a lot, and it's really true. Like 5 or 10 minutes here or there, you can talk to a couple of different people. Usually, I've noticed a lot of people message during like breakfast time before work, at lunch, or after work.
Yeah.
If they're like interested in buying product. But I still give myself the weekends off, and especially Sundays. And usually in the evenings after Nathan's off work, I, pretty much just hang out with him and watch TV and stuff. So it's not something where I feel like I'm sacrificing a whole lot of family time or anything like that. And it's definitely like you get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah, I say the nooks and crannies all the time. That's like the perfect way to describe it because, like, I have 3 kids under the age of 4. I do not have an abundance of time.
I don't know how you do it. Plus you're a financial advisor, plus you're doing the business, plus you're always doing personal and professional development stuff. I don't know how you do it.
I'm a busy lady. I get a couple extra hours a day than everybody else.
I told Nathan, because, it's only been this week that I've been able to, like, be more independent and drive myself places and go to doctor's appointments. So I was like, God, I'm so tired. Like, I'm exhausted. My body's just so tired. And he was like, Kelly, you were getting in, like, 500 steps a day before for months because all you could do is go from, like, the bed to the couch to the kitchen, back to the couch, to the bathroom, back to the couch. Like, he was having to do all the laundry and cooking and everything. So he's like, it's probably going to take a while for your body to even get acclimated to, like, normal activity levels.
Yeah.
So, and that's another great thing is, like, I missed out on most of February because I was in the hospital, and then I had to go through, like, 2.5 weeks of just being devastatingly sick.
Yeah.
And I still made money. And that's not something you can do at a traditional job.
No.
So, there's a peace of mind there. I would start to stress and be like, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything for the business in, like, weeks. And then I would be like, but Kelly, it's still running without you, and you still have teammates working, and, you still have customers who are engaged and stuff. So, there's, like, a peace of mind that you get when if you have to put it to the side for a bit so that you can handle life, then you can come back to it and it'll be okay. Unlike my traditional job, which I got fired from.
So true, right? Like, same thing when I was in and out of the hospital with a baby. Like, I couldn't really work the business at all, but I still got a paycheck.
Yeah.
You're sweet, thanks.
And it's a relief,
It is.
Yeah.
So my very last question for you.
Okay.
And I've had to reword the question because I always say what's been the biggest blessing, and everyone says the people. So I'm like,
sure.
That's not what I want you to say.
I snorted. I said I was going to snort at least once while I talked tonight, and it just happened.
I want to know the biggest financial blessing for you.
Well, it's the only income I've been able to generate when I literally could not get up off the couch. It's the only income I could generate. For the first few months that I was off work, I was getting temporary disability payments. Right. So I was still able to, like, pay bills, and then I could use all of my RF money to, like, pay medical bills. But then I lost that. Like, once I surpassed that certain amount of time I was out of work, I lost that. And my long-term disability claim got denied because the insurance industry is a fucking racket. And so at that point, R&F became the only income from, like, September until January. It was the only form of income I had. And it was, like, not just the people and not just the finances, but for me, especially because of my particular medical situation and, like, literally being disabled temporarily, for me, it gave me a reason to get up every day. And I needed that because I was in so much pain. And again, it took like 8 months for them to diagnose what was happening to me. And to treat it. So I was in so much pain for all those months. I was suicidal. Because pain messes with your head so bad, and you get to where you're just like, there's no end to it, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. and so I was in like a deep depressive cycle, and having the business and having all of you guys to interact with every day, and like having a purpose and goals, um, that for me was the biggest blessing, because I mean, it just kept me going. I mean, it was just that simple. I did not have a reason to keep going. I mean, you hate to say that, because of course you have family and friends that love you and that means a lot to you, but like, it's not enough when your pain is literally driving you insane. And then on top of that, I was on so many different medications that were causing other problems that we didn't realize. And so it just, I mean, it literally, like, it gave me purpose every day, and it gave me a reason to get up at 5:30 every day and take care of the dog and make sure Nathan got up for work and bring him coffee in the morning. And like, it all started with knowing, okay, you have these goals you're trying to meet. So for me, it's a little bit different than probably most people on our team.
Yeah. Jeepers.
I know.
Well, you're around.
I'm glad I'm around. I mean, now that I'm on the other side of the worst of it, it's like, gosh, I can't believe how it feels surreal. Like, you can't believe how desperate you felt, or how hopeless. But like, when you're in the thick of it and there's no light at the end of the tunnel, it's really hard.
Yeah. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I mean, like, when you say pain, I mean, literally there were days when I was begging Nathan to cut my leg off, or like begging him to go find me drugs, street drugs, because I'd be like, just find me something. I just can't take it. You know, like, I mean, it's otherworldly. You can't, and there's no way to escape it. You can't, you know, and then you can't sleep because the pain is so bad it keeps you up. So yeah, it drives you bonkers. And so when you're on the other side of it, it's hard to believe that you were ever that bad. But that shit was real.
Yeah. My word, you poor little dear.
Well, but at the same time, it's like the weirdest blessing, because I started dreaming again, and I started writing again, and I found myself in some ways again. So it's one of those really weird, you know, they say blessing in disguise, and it sounds so cliche, but it really has been.
Well, I'm so glad to have met you through this journey.
Me too.
We never would have met.
I know, because you're all the way up in the frigid tundra with all the moose.
Yeah, I am.
And I'm all the way down here where they still fly Confederate flags. Let me tell you how fun it is to be a human rights activist and a civil rights activist who's like traveled to places like El Salvador to study human rights, to live in a place where they fly Confederate flags.
You're gonna move.
But the climate is better, and like, most of the people are delightful. Honestly, most of the people are delightful, but there's some fruitcakes.
I'm sure.
But it's culture shock. But there's lots more sunshine.
I have a question.
What?
Are you coming to convention?
It's a really good question. Like, last year, I thought for sure yes, but like,
Yeah.
because my medical drama drew out for as long as it did, I don't really know what to expect. My goal is to be there, but I don't know.
Hard to say.
Nathan's coming in the living room. I think he's like, you've been on there way longer than 15, 30 minutes.
How long have you been?
It's been like 45.
Yeah, I have. Sorry, Nathan.
He says hi. I'm sorry. We talk a lot.
Whatever.
I can't help it. I love talking to you. It's like we're hanging out in the same room.
I know.
But yeah, I should probably go get ready for bed.
All right. Thank you for joining me.
I love you.
I love you too.
Have a good night.